big of a problem do you actually have with Steph throwing that mouthpiece?
I don't have a problem with him throwing the mouthpiece, but I'm at a 10 for him showing his teammate up, Skip. I understand his frustration, because what Steph understands, Skip, they were on a 4-game home losing streak. Now, if they at first, they couldn't win on the road, but they were very, very solid at home. Now the road losing had transferred back to home. And so they're on a 4-game losing streak. Now, he said, Memphis notwithstanding, but I think he views Memphis as somewhat as a team that could cause them some problems if they were to meet in the playoffs again. Yeah. So with that being said, Steph was like, bruh, hey, I don't care how hot you are. If I'm clapping my hands, go and hand your boy that ball. I'm Steph Curry. Yep. I'm the Finals MVP. I'm the 2-time MVP. Let me get that. So, Skip, I don't have a problem with it. Now, Steph has been ejected 3 times, and all 3 times was because of why? He threw his mouthpiece. Yep. He threw his mouthpiece in Game 6 of the NBA Finals of 2016, in which they end up losing that series. He threw it at a referee again in Memphis and again last night. So that seems to be his way of channeling his frustrations. He doesn't yell obscenities. He doesn't say anything. He just grabs his mouthpiece and he flings it. And right now, that's an automatic ejection. Whether you throw it in the stands, whether you throw it on the floor, it doesn't matter. Anytime you take the mouth guard out, you throw it, that's automatic ejection. So that's the problem that I have, Skip. Steph Curry has given me no indication that he's anything but an outstanding. We already know what he is as a player. But I don't get the impression that he thinks he's better than, or he tries to do something like that. But that's going to be perceived that he showed his teammate up. So that's the problem. I'm at a 10 when it comes to show. But his act, I ain't got no problem with his act. I have no problem with that whatsoever. It's just that, Skip, I try to pride myself. I always went into a game and said, okay, you might not get this today. Something happens. Just make sure you keep your emotions in check. And so because I wanted my teammates, Skip, you didn't think when they dropped the pass, you didn't think I was ball. But I'm sure when I dropped one, I'm sure they was probably saying the same thing up under their breath. Yep. So they gave me the respect that says, okay, we're not going to show Shannon up because Shannon didn't show us up. So let's keep it going like that. But that's the only problem that I got, Skip. I love his passion. I love the emotion which he plays. But sometimes, people will view that as, damn, Steph, don't show your brother up like that.
Okay, but you don't have a problem throwing the mouth guard, yet you do have a 10, to a scale of 1 to 10, you have a 10 problem with the act.
Skip, you know how I am about just showing up teammates.
But they are intertwined. They're part and they're parcel. He threw it because he was mad at his teammate. Yeah. He didn't throw it because they suddenly trailed or they were playing bad basketball or he had missed a shot.
I think because he's like, at this juncture of the game, where we are, Skip, he's very mindful. We're on a 4-game home losing streak. They had blown several games, had double-digit leads late in the second half, and they end up blowing said leads. Yeah. So he's like, okay, I believe we can get a better shot. Or I believe if I shoot this ball, I got a better chance to make it than you do. That's just the way, look, Skip, and I guess I'm trying to separate the two, or I guess maybe I'm looking at them and they're not mutually exclusive. I could be disappointed, not disappointed with the act, but disappointed what it led to or how it's perceived.
Okay. My biggest takeaway from what happened near the end of this game last night is that Steph Curry has now eclipsed LeBron James as the most overprotected superstar in sports. Steph Curry is rivaling LeBron to become the face of the league. And it's close right now because I still would side slightly to LeBron, but Steph is rivaling him because he broke through and finally won an NBA Finals on his own with no KD help, right? Okay. He is in every other commercial on television, and he earned them. Yeah. And I'm good with that, and he's great in the commercials, and he is the baby-faced assassin, and I'm sure deep down he's really a good guy, and most people find him to be the most beloved player in the league, even eclipsing LeBron in the beloved category.
Okay, I'll give you that.
This is a bad look for him. I've said this from the start, and I don't pull any punches when it comes to any of these guys. All along, I've had issues with all of his showboating and hot dogging and all of his celebrations, and I just put you to sleep and all that. And again, he revolutionized the game with the three-point shot. We never seen anything like it before. He is clearly, obviously, the greatest shooter ever.
Yes.
But part of his package is all the grandstanding, all the showboating, all the hot dogging, all the antics, and you can say it's just part of who he is and his performance act. It's all part of his entertainment act.
Right.
But this one crossed a big line to me because this crossed the Aaron Rodgers line. This is where Aaron Rodgers is constantly showing up his teammates, like, go,
Right.
don't go over here.
Right.
And you and I have had issues with that for 7 years on the show.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever seen him do something like this before?
No, it's usually at the other team. It's usually showboating at the expense of the other team. I just did something to you. I just clowned you. I just made you look silly. So I'm going to show you up even more as I go back up the floor. I put you to sleep.
Right.
Okay. It's fine if you can continue to back it up. But he hasn't always backed it up on the court because I've shown you many times, especially in that 2016 finals in games 5, 6, and 7, when he came up even smaller than he is.
But Skip, the sleep celebration just started last year.
I got it, but there are all kinds of antics that he does with his mouth guard a lot of times that show up the other team, and he gets away with it because nobody's going to criticize beloved little Steph. He's the baby-faced assassin.
I think that's great entertainment. I mean, if you want to get upset, Skip, when he shoots the ball and just turns and runs away because he knows it's good.
That kind of thing. It's a little hot doggy to me, okay? But they go in a lot.
Right.
And he is a revolutionary player in this league who will go down in the history of this league as he changed the game.
Right.
Okay, but I'll even remind you last year that they broke through, again, it was Steph and Steph alone. He finally got his first finals MVP.
Okay.
And yet, in the fourth quarters of those 6 games against the Celtics, he shot 2 of 10 from 3. The most revolutionary shooter in the history of basketball went 2 of 10 from 3 in all 6 combined fourth quarters.
Right.
It's not that great. Jason Turnover, as I started calling him, literally handed the game back to me with some help from his co-star, Jaylen Brown. They turned the ball over so much, they just basically handed the whole finals back to Golden State.
Right.
So keep that in some perspective. But then last night, is it possible he showed a little bit of true colors here? Because, boy, that is egregiously crossing the line and showing up a teammate, because Jordan Poole has been on the hottest of hot seats in the glare of the spotlight because of what happened before the year started, because clearly Draymond was threatened by his new celebrity, by his rising to become the 3rd member of the Big Three, replacing Draymond, and Draymond popped him right in the face over that.
Right.
And this came across a little bit to me like Steph is starting to be a little bit threatened by Jordan Poole. Okay, but look at what Jordan Poole had done. He'd scored, at that point, he'd scored 11 points in the fourth quarter. He wound up with 13 in the fourth quarter. So it wasn't like he didn't have a hot hand. Does he not deserve to shoot that shot? I know Steph had a hot hand too, but it wasn't any hotter than Jordan Poole's. Look at it. Look what they'd done in the fourth.
Yeah, but look at Steph. Steph had 31, Skip.
Okay, I got it. But it was, at that point, it was 11-10 in points scored in the fourth quarter.
And he missed the last, they played 12 minutes, so he missed the last 6 minutes and 2 seconds. So it's hard for me to believe that he's still been stuck on, with that much time, he'd still been stuck on 34.
Okay, but clearly he was furious that Jordan Poole had dared to shoot a shot that he wanted to shoot.
Yeah.
And I think we've been showing the sequence, but I thought it was a decent look. It's a guy, who's arrived. It's a miss, and Clay gets the offensive rebound, and it's pretty wide open. I know it's about 3 feet beyond the three-point line, but isn't that standard operating procedure for Golden State?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they all do? They all take shots like that.
But no. But here's the thing. When Steph calls for the ball, I don't care who has it. Give it to him.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah. Well, if Clay's, I don't know that I'd give it up if I'm Clay Thompson.
I don't know if Steph would have asked for it, but I think the thing is, in that situation, if Steph calls for the ball, that's like, look, somebody might be hot, Simons or whomever, but if Dame calls for the ball, you give it up. If Luka calls for the ball, give it up. If LeBron calls for the ball, give it up. If you give that up, that's a superstar times 5. They're magnified.
Maybe you wouldn't give it up to LeBron to shoot a 3.
If he calls for the ball, you give it to him. If he wants to pass it, he'll pass it.
Okay.
If he wants to shoot it, he'll shoot it. If he wants to drive it, he'll drive it. But if LeBron says this, you give it to him.
Okay. Jordan Poole is averaging a career-high 21 points. Does he not deserve to take shots in the flow of the offense?
He can take shots wherever. But if Steph Curry is saying, give me the ball, give it to him.
Okay. So it was a heated game because, weirdly, Golden State and Memphis have a rivalry. I don't know exactly what the Grizzlies have done to be part of this rivalry.
Exactly.
Yeah, if I'm Golden State, I just look down my nose at them and say, and you guys have done exactly what?
And
But they do take them very seriously.
Right. I think the thing, Skip, you remember the play-in tournament. I think they kicked the Golden State out the play-in tournament.
Well, they went up there and did it at their
And so
house.
that I guess they figured they had slayed the Giants.
Yep.
So they were the new kids on the block.
Yep.
And Golden State said, wait a minute, guys, you're not.
Yeah, and last year, that's what they said in the end of that series.
Right.
And it wasn't the conference finals, it was the round before.
Right.
Yet Draymond said after the game, I think Memphis brings out our competitive side in us, and we do the same for them. Both teams rise up for this game, and it's a fun one to play every time.
Right.
And I'm thinking, okay, so we know Memphis, the Grizzlies strut their stuff every night.
Yeah.
Wherever they go, they strut their stuff. But they operate like they have 4 rings.
They do.
And
They do.
They don't have anything, right?
They do.
And again, there's part of that I have sort of grudging respect for because, okay, you guys.
Skip, you can't. Well, Dylan Brooks said they were a dynasty.
Yeah.
I'm saying, how are you a dynasty? If you take the team that won the championship 6 games, if you declare that as being a dynasty, take off. But you're not a dynasty. You got to win something. All dynasties conquer something. They had vast amounts of land. They took over other regions. What have you taken over? What have you won? What have you done to consider yourself a dynasty?
I don't know. So now they've lost back-to-back games on the road.
Oh, the road trip has been very unkind to them.
Yes, it's been very unkind to them. And again, I like them and I want to love them, but I'm saying you're going to have to show me a little more. Show me a little more.
Yeah, you're going to have to back up all that trash talking.
Yeah.
All that talking y'all doing, you're going to have to back that thing up. You're going to have to put some hardware. You're going to need that Louis Vuitton case, and y'all going to need to be the last one standing. At some point in time, Skip, for the bravado in which they talk, Skip, you got to match it with a championship.
It's not just Ja, it's every one of them.
Every last
one of them.
Yes.
Okay.
From Bain to Clark to Jaron, every last one of them. The only one that don't really talk is the coach. Now, maybe he's talking behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But the rest of them,
Maybe Steven Adams doesn't talk much, but he's been out with a sprained knee,
right.
so he didn't play last night, which is why Golden State had its way with them on the backboards.
Oh, yeah.
So, right, wasn't
well, no, it wasn't. No, they did. Golden State beat them on the glass.
44-36, and Golden State started with their
death lineup.
The small ball lineup, right?
Yes.
But Looney came in and got his 8 rebounds, but Draymond got 13 rebounds. Way to go. But the point is, in the big picture, remember what happened in Game 1 at Memphis between these two teams last year? Ja's got a shot at the end of the game to win the game, and he goes down the left side of the lane, and Clay came off his guy was on Brandon Clark and just followed him down the lane and made him shoot it, and he missed everything.
Yes.
Remember, he shot it completely off the glass over the rim.
Right.
Okay. Well, you could have won that game at home. That was the Draymond go crazy game.
Yes.
And you didn't win it, and then you were behind the 8 ball basically the whole series.
Right.
Okay. So the point is, emotions were running hot and heavy and high last night because it was Memphis at Golden State, and Steph just kind of lost his mind, and he's always doing something. He's got
always chewing on it at the free throw line.
At the free throw line, it's hanging out.
Yeah.
Ernestine always says to me, "What is he doing with his mouthpiece?" I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just,
I don't get, Skip, how they touch it so much, and they touching each other's hands.
Oh, it's
they
terrible.
slapping each other on the backside. They slap each other on the shoulder. And then
given what we've been through the last 3 years, you kind of learn your lesson. Don't do that. Right?
Well, I didn't even, when I played, I didn't wear a mouthpiece. So, because I wanted to be able to talk freely. I ain't got time to be.
I don't even know how the quarterbacks call the signals.
Well, they have those fitted ones, like those night guards like you wear when you go to sleep. So a lot of those play with those. But I didn't wear. I just chewed gum. So, but yeah, I just skip. I get it. I get it. Like I said, emotions are very, very high with Steph. They understood it. They're on a 4-game home losing streak. They have been very good at home, but not of lately. They're terrible on the road. In Memphis, it's Memphis. I don't care what anybody says. He's like, well, we're not worried about whether it was Memphis, but you are. Because I'm always trying to snuff out all challengers, especially ones that think they're a major challenge, a major threat. I'm going to suppress that.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jordan Poole, if we could see the final play of the game for them, they call a play. I think Draymond suggested.
Right.
He said that he suggested it in the huddle, and it worked because Jordan Poole escaped down the left side and got it from DiVincenzo for a little reverse layup that won the game. So Jordan Poole did hit the shot that won the game.
Right.
And then if we could see one more time what happens after the game as he's walking up the tunnel. The videographer is walking with him, so he knows it's going on somebody's tape at that point. They all know that they're on camera up the tunnel. And he mockingly fires his
Steph said
mouthpiece.
that's too soon.
Huh?
Steph said too soon.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, and then they hug it out.
Yeah.
But the point was, I don't think Jordan Poole loved it either. I think there was some seriousness to him mocking the mouthpiece throw, okay? Because it did show him up, and I don't think he loved it because he's earned a little better place on this team than that.
I look at it like this. Steph is like a big brother, and I can remember like I didn't like it, but I understood when my big brother would scold me, especially out in public.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at home or we're doing something, I get that. But I understood why he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he's basically telling Jordan, look, at that time, that's not the shot. Let's reset. Let's calm down. Let's calm it down. Let's pull it out. I'm not so sure Steph Curry was going to shoot the ball. Now, he was clapping for it, but maybe Steph was going to say, whoa. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's pull this ball back out. Let's come up with a better play. We don't need to be helter-skelter. And so that's the way I look at it. And that's why I always took my brother's chiding me, because I think that's basically what he's doing, is that it's all about making Shannon better. This is all about making Jordan Poole, because one day Steph's not going to be there. And so what I'm trying to teach you is that it's not always when it's helter-skelter, you go jack up a shot. Let's pull this thing out. Let's make sure we get a better shot. And I think moving forward, I think Jordan Poole will be better for what Steph Curry did. Although at the moment, it doesn't seem that way.
It does not seem that way, but I hope for their sake you are correct, because they are now 24-24. Yeah. They're a 500 basketball team, and we're now obviously 48 games into
now, Skip, it makes it even more and more impressive that they once won an entire season and lost 9 games.
Okay.
I know. They lost 9 games for the entire season. They've already lost 24 before the All-Star game.
And it still seems to me from a distance like their chaos swirls around Jordan Poole's role. Like Draymond threatened, now Steph a little threatened, a little resentful of his role, of his new celebrity, because they had their big three for years and years, and it was dynastic.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. But now, Skip, that big three is only a name only. Right now, Jordan Poole is the third best player. Well, Jordan Poole is the best. He might be. He's the second best player. I think he's better than Klay right now.
You could. The numbers would tell you.
But I think that big three. I think Klay, Steph, and Poole now have supplanted Steph, Klay, and Draymond.
Yep.
And that's okay. Draymond still has his role, because what did he give you last night, Skip? He gave you, Draymond gave you, 18, 13, and 7.
Yeah.
So he still can do those things. That's what he is.
You say 18 or 8?
No, he gave you 8, 13, and 7.
Yeah, right.
So he's still a valuable piece. You're not going to win. You're not going to go very far without Draymond.
Yeah.
Because he does all the little things. He's going to play the defense. He's going to be scrappy, the 50-50 loose balls. He's going to come up with those more times than not. Great screens. He understands. Skip, the guy be running. Draymond get a rebound. He knows exactly. He'll drop the ball up in the corner. Guy runs, picks it, boom.
Agreed.
So he understands his role, but it's changing.
Okay.
It's changing. It's ever changing.
All right. So here's the bottom line. If you look at plus minus last night, what does it tell you? Well, by far the best plus minus on the Warriors was Jordan Poole at plus 15.
Yeah.
Steph was a minus 3. So all the time Steph was on the floor, they lost by 3. All the time Jordan Poole was on the floor, they won by 15. That would suggest to you that Jordan Poole was having a pretty good game.
Right. Yeah, sometimes I don't understand. Sometimes I don't really understand plus minus skill, because I see a guy going off, and then all of a sudden the guy got like a -5, and dude dropped 43.
Yeah, well, it can be misleading, but I think in this case, I think it was pretty telling.
Yeah, but like I said, I haven't seen Steph really lose it. And if just throwing your mouthpiece is what's losing it, Skip, he's not yelling and screaming at the officials, although, he's like, hey, come on. So
yeah, he was trying to argue I shouldn't have been ejected because it didn't actually go in the stands and threaten anybody.
Right. I think taking the mouthpiece and throwing it now, I think that's
just said that the Poole reporter's report from Sean Wright, the crew chief said, no, you threw your mouthpiece. That's it. You're gone.
That's my guy from the crib, Atlanta, Sean.
Really?
Yeah, we used to work out together.
Is that right?
It is.
Huh. Wow.
We work out together.
Uh-oh. Well, you should get him to do some Laker games.
As a matter of fact, he just did the Lakers game the other night.
Really?
I think they lost. Did they lose before the Spurs? I think he called the Lakers game. They lost to they lost on Tuesday night. I think so. And he just went over.
He did the Clippers?
Yes, I think he did. I think he did do the Clippers.
Well, you need to put in a word.
No, I don't need to put in no word. Nah.
Get a call here.
No, I don't need to put in no word.
All right.
No. And my guy, Zach Zarba. I don't know if Skip, but he just happened to be at the game, Memphis game. And he was talking.
All right.
I'm sure it is full of interesting names and numbers. Guys, the Warriors, Skip, you mentioned that 500 record. That means they're sitting at 8th in the Western Conference right now. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.